This is a review for the Coway Airmega series of air purifiers. We specifically tested the 400S, however, much of our review also applies to the 400, the 300S, and the 300. All of these units are very similar. The 400 models are slightly larger with a slightly greater output. It's about 60 to 80 CFM more there on the larger units. The S models can be controlled via an app, while the non-S models cannot. Otherwise, all of these models really are very similar. With that being said, the 400S that we have on the table here today is about 23 inches tall. It's about 15 inches wide and about 15 inches deep. This unit weighs about 24 pounds. And again, the 300 models are going to be slightly smaller and they are going to be slightly lighter. However, again, they are very similar. They essentially feature the exact same design. In terms of filtration for all of these units, the 300 and the 400 and S models, non-S models, all of these units feature two sets of filters. Now there's a set of filters on this side of the unit, and there's also a set of filters on the far side of the unit here. There are removable grills here that you can remove. Behind the removable grill, there is a mesh filter, a mesh pre-filter, and then there is a single filter. It's a single combination filter. On one side, there is activated carbon for gas filtration, and on the other side, there is a HEPA filter for particle filtration. And that single combination filter fits in here behind the mesh pre-filter inside of the unit here. Now, air enters the unit on both sides again because there are filters on both sides. So air is entering here on both sides, and it's entering the unit through that grill on each side. It is going through the mesh pre-filter, through the activated carbon side of the combination filter, through the HEPA side of the combination filter, through the middle of the unit, and up and out through the top here. There is a large grill up top here, and the air exits out of the top of the unit. There are only 3 fan speeds on this unit, low, medium, and high. However, there are also 2 additional automatic modes, if you will. There is a auto mode that will run the unit on a particular fan speed according to the measured air quality in the room. The unit actually has a air quality meter behind the front grill here. This front grill can actually be removed, and it reveals the air quality meter back here. And so on that automatic mode, the unit will set fan speed according to the air quality in the room. So if the air quality is poor, the fan speed will automatically ramp up. If the air quality is good, the fan speed will automatically ramp down. The CFM for this unit is in the 420 to 430 range. So that is a CFM of about 420 to 430. So what do we like about the Coway Airmega series of air purifiers? Well, we definitely like the high output of these units, especially 400 series at an output of about 420, 430, like we talked about earlier. That is a substantial CFM that's going to allow you to use this unit in both smaller rooms and larger rooms alike. So we definitely like that high output. Even the 300 series is also on the high side for CFM. Most units on the market tend to hover in the 100 CFM range. Some units are also up to 250 CFM, 300 CFM. So for the 300 series to be all the way up to 350, 360 CFM, even that 300 series still provides a very high CFM compared to most other air purifiers on the market. Now, what does this high output actually mean? It means that this air purifier is going to be able to process a lot of air over and over again very quickly. It is also going to be able to service larger rooms than lower CFM units. Another thing we like about these units are their high quality filters. Behind the grill here, again on each side, there is a mesh pre-filter, and that mesh pre-filter is a washable pre-filter. It is a cleanable pre-filter. So you don't have to worry about replacing that filter. You can clean it as it saturates with larger particles. So that is definitely a very strong positive for the unit. It also comes equipped with a combination filter that consists of activated carbon on one side, and that activated carbon is actual activated carbon pellets in there. This is not a fibrous filter that is only coated with carbon. There are actual pellets in there, and that is also a strong positive there. Finally, you have a True HEPA filter in there, and that is also a very strong positive for the unit. So you really are covered on all sides there. You are covered for large particles by that washable pre-filter. You're covered for gas filtration with that activated carbon filter, and you're covered for particle filtration with a True HEPA filter, which is the gold standard for particle filtration in the world of air purifiers. This unit also has terrific energy efficiency, and it exhibits that terrific energy efficiency on all 3 fan speeds. On the highest setting, this unit draws about 60 watts or so, and that at about 420 to 430 CFM. So to put this into perspective, something like the Coway Mighty Air Purifier, a unit that outputs at 250 CFM, that unit was tested to draw about 70 watts of power. So this unit draws about 60 watts, outputting at about 420, 430 CFM. The Coway Mighty outputs at about 250 CFM, drawing 70 watts of power, drawing more power. So this is really a very energy efficient unit, and it also doesn't have a very high maximum power draw to get you to that high CFM. Very impressive here on the energy efficiency with this unit. This unit also has very low noise output considering its high CFM again. Now, we didn't measure any noise output that was lower on that highest setting compared to other units. It's still loud on its highest setting. However, considering the CFM again here, for the fact that it outputs at such a high CFM and doesn't output much greater noise than most of the units on the market that output at a much lower CFM, it's very impressive here for the unit to exhibit that very reasonable noise output considering its high CFM. So finally, we do need to talk about what we don't like about the unit. And there really is only one thing that we don't like about the Coway Airmega series of air purifiers, and that is their price. And this is really the one thing that keeps us from recommending them as some of the best air purifiers on the market. Top-rated units like the Coway Mighty, like the Winix 5500-2, units like that, they retail for about $150 to $200 in that range, and you're getting about 250 CFM of output at that price. Now, those units don't have any less of a filter quality than these units here. Those units also have a washable pre-filter. The Winix also has a activated carbon filter that consists of actual activated carbon pellets in there for gas filtration. Both the Coway Mighty and the Winix 5500-2 have a True HEPA filter in there. So those units, those top-rated units retailing for much less than these Airmega units, have the same filtration quality as these Airmega units, and they also still have a substantial output at about 250 CFM or so. Now, that 250 CFM is not the 430 CFM on this Airmega 400S here. However, it is still a substantial output, and that 250 CFM is going to be sufficient CFM for most applications. Now, let's just say for the sake of argument that you really want that extra CFM, that you are attached to that 430 CFM of the 400 and 400S, or that 350, 360 CFM of the 300 or 300S, that is a compelling reason for you to buy those units because you really want that extra CFM. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that is something that is a compelling reason for you to buy those units. In that scenario, if CFM is really important to you, you can absolutely get the same level of CFM. You can get even greater CFM by buying multiple Coway Mighty units, by buying multiple Winix units. And when you do so, when you buy even multiple of those lower CFM units, you are still paying less than you do for the Coway Airmega series of units. And you are often paying less by a substantial margin. So multiple Winix units, Winix 5500-2 units, two of those units are going to run you about $300 or so. And for $300, you're getting 500 CFM, 250 CFM times 2. One of these Coway Airmega 400s, on the low side, again, you're looking at about $450. Add the S model to that, and you're looking at about $550. So there is a substantial price difference there. Even comparing the 300 prices, the 300 at 350 CFM, now you're dropping the CFM down to 350 CFM compared to 500 CFM on multiple Winixes. And even still, the multiple Winixes are going to cost less than a single Coway Airmega 300, even without the S there. So the fact here is that if high CFM is an important factor for you in purchasing a air purifier, you really get a much, much better value by going with multiple smaller units. Again, you're getting the same filtration quality. You're not getting any drop in filtration quality there. And you are getting even more CFM by going with multiple units there versus a single one of these Coway Airmega units. So what is the bottom line here when it comes to the Coway Airmega series of air purifiers, including this 400S? Well, the bottom line is that these are very good air purifiers. Again, there's a lot to like about these units. They have very good energy efficiency. They have good noise output considering their CFM. These are good units. They have good filters. It's easy to change their filters. These units look very good. They have great aesthetics. The S models can be controlled via an app, but you are paying a premium to get that high CFM all in one unit here. And maybe that is something that you're looking for. Maybe you're not willing to manage multiple units, and that is simply not an option for you. In that scenario, this is a very good air purifier. But our recommendation for most users, really taking into account value and really valuing value itself, we would recommend multiple 250 CFM units over a single Airmega unit, at least at the time of recording this video.